Tonight, joining us is Kenny Liu from Spring Aqua, and he will be discussing with us about his drinking water filtration systems and today's technology on water. So I'll pass it on to Dr. Judy.
Yes, welcome everyone. And please don't forget to subscribe and hit like and leave comments. Today, it is such an amazing and exciting day to have Kenny Lou, a very busy man, travel all over the world, but yet find time to join us tonight. I'm so happy. Kenny and I met through a, an acquaintance, ironically, and little did I know that Kenny knew my classmate from college, chiropractic school, and we started talking. I was like, no way, he's the godfather of my friends, or your daughter is actually.
That's correct.
Yeah, and it was just like, what a small world. And so Kenny was sharing with me the story of how he started with this water company, and I was just so fascinated by how it all started. And the machine it's amazing, and I have a story to share after this. So I'm just going to give Kenny the floor of how this journey got started, and have the audience just kind of tune in. Kenny?
Well, thank you, Dr. Judy. It's an honor. I got a text message from a couple weeks ago, and I said I gotta do it because this is my. By the way, this is for my company. This is our very first Zoom live, or any sort of live. Okay, we've kept it real nitty gritty. We've kept it real relationship based, real relation like authentic and real the whole time. But when Dr. Judy mentioned to me that she wanted to do something, I knew that I needed to do it. It's going to be a lot of fun working with you and your friends and all the exciting stuff that you and your practice, and also the movement you move with the radiate up energy, the spiritual. I mean, I love everything you do. I think it's fascinating, and it's also very good for people. It's very heart centered. It does help a lot of people. Yeah. So I'm going to just share with you my story, the water, and then afterwards, I'm open for any questions. Doesn't matter what it is. If I know the answers, I'll definitely answer. If I don't, then you might have to get an email later. But I should do okay today with all the answers. But like what Dr. Judy said, a lot of my businesses in the past have come from all sorts of relationships. I met Dr. Judy through a lady called Marsha Sears, and I was at I think a Thursday event. Remember at an event
Meeting,
that
yes.
you did, and you did a thing on the body. I remember the body is the spirit, and also the healing of the body. That you had the floor that one time. Remember that, and that really attracted me to your heart in helping people, and making small little evolvements in your practice, doing things a little bit differently, so we can continue the wellness, kind of the vision of being well, right? And so I reached out, we became friends, and that's the same way with my water. It was in 2014. I went back to Asia as a translator. Now I've done a lot of business all over Asia: Hong Kong, Singapore, China, Taiwan. And on this particular trip, I was doing a translating for an American-based company out of Texas. They were trying to sell food supplements to China, and they were actually plant-based and plant-sourced. So, I had a huge passion in helping people in the wellness sector. So I was doing the translation, and then in that group, there was about 7 or different people, and I think it was like 3 from the U.S. company and 4 or 5 from the Asian team. And as I was translating and I finished, a gentleman called Mr. Xiao, we call him BBH, reached out to me after the meeting, says, look, you're that little kid. Because I was a kid, I was only probably my early 30s at that time. You're that little kid I really want to hang out and really, work with. Can you come back to me in a couple of weeks in Taiwan? So I went home to Seattle, told my wife I had to go back right away. I think I may have found someone who I wanted to work with. And I went back to meet Mr. Shah. We talked about water. We talked about air. We talked about renewable energy. We talked about all the healthy, food, nutritious stuff that he wanted to do. And then I found out he was the guy who developed the Rubik's Cube, developed the EKG, developed the ultrasound. So I knew that I had a very good, I don't know, I call my godfather now because, that's the right title, but I had a very good person to work with. And his wife was a very, very famous spiritual leader in Taiwan that kind of worked with a lot of the very wealthy families and help them do, I don't know, several spiritual stuff. So I really learned a lot from that process. And so the water originated from my dad's friend, and there we go, it's all family related, friends related, right? Professor Henry. And basically I put everything together. The three of us started the business in Asia in 2014, and in 2016 we won the award in Japan, the most eco-friendly award, because we use no power and we have no wastewater and we don't store any water as well. So that was pretty cool. And in 2016, we formed the startup team in the United States. We flew everybody to Asia to meet everyone. So there's about 15 of us that went. And then we started the company in Seattle. It was around November. And then our first installation was in February of 2017. And now we're literally all over the United States. So we're in California, we're in Oregon, Arizona, we're in Florida, New York, Cincinnati, Kansas, you name it all. It's kind of grown because we have a digital app that kind of, you know how the word of mouth gets shared out and people post and they post and now everyone knows about it, right? So that's kind of how we did. So everything's relationship based. And so the water is kind of like, I'll explain the 4 different categories so you can understand what it is. And it really, we kind of define it our way. There's 4 ways to look at it. There's pure water, and then there's clean water, and then there's water that's safe to consume, and then the water that has the life promoting benefits. Okay. From the pure water standpoint, a group of scientists studied the different ecosystems around the world. And I don't know if you guys have heard the Lourdes Springs in France. It's a very famous spring that 5.5 million people go there to bathe a year because something cool about that water. They drink it, they take it home, they bathe in it, right? There's another one in Nordenau Springs in Germany. So the scientists were looking at those springs, looking at the ecology, the mountain behind it and everything, and the rivers, and what was actually the water content in the rock layers. And what we did was we're able to mimic that ecosystem and put into 14 different filters. So what you have in your home is what I call, those 14 filters are called a mountain in a box. Okay, and so that was the terminology that Dr. Oz and I, when we worked about a couple years ago, he says never ever change that story because that story resonates with everybody. You literally have an ecosystem in your house or a mountain under your sink that produces pure drinking water. So if that would be the differentiator, I would say we're not a reverse osmosis, neither a bottled water, neither an ionizer, the ones you have to plug in, or neither distilled water, or even just filters. We're really a combination of 14 different filters, creating the ecosystem that we deliver to your home. Okay, so that's the first visual to see. Then we're also considered clean water technology because our water has 14 filters. So your pesticides, insecticides, your herbicides, your chemicals, your fluoride, all the heavy metals that you're going to go into, your chlorine, chloramines and everything, your chromium 6, bacteria, viruses, that's all removed. We remove everything. And we're certified by a company called SGS out of Switzerland. So if you're ever in any sort of testing industry or laboratory industry, you would know that SGS is the largest testing laboratory in the world, and they have extremely high standards. The benefit of working with them is when we get approved with them, since they're in pretty much every country in the world, we can use these testing standards for pretty much everywhere going, Asia, United States, South America, Europe, and stuff like that. Third is the water is safe to consume. So this is very interesting. When I first met Dr. Judy, we weren't doing the safe to consume thing yet. We knew. And what I mean by that is the water in the United States is different in everywhere where you go. Have you guys been to Arizona and drank their water? Or go to Florida and drink their water, right? The water is literally different. So we've had a lot of challenges trying to figure out what type of filters go what type of region. And so we've divvied up United States into 6 different zones. And so, for instance, Seattle is zone 2. Zone 2 is relatively good. New York would be zone 1, even better. Like New York and Oregon are zone 1s, and Connecticut zone 1 as well. Whereas if you go to California, you know that in Southern California and Los Angeles, the water's a little bit harder, dirtier. There is zone 3. But when you move over to Arizona and Vegas, now we're in zone 4. And then Florida is zone 4. And then you have Ohio, West Virginia. Many of those areas are zone 5 because a lot of fracking is going on, which really affects the water in the well, right? And in zone 6 are people who are on yachts, big, massive yachts who need to change the seawater to regular drinking water. Okay. So we created the zip code database over the last year. When you punch a zip code, we know exactly what type of filters goes in your region and kind of have an idea what the maintenance will look like. We also provide a see-through filter. We call them P1 see-through filter, because we realize a lot of the houses are old and we don't really know how dirty your pipes are, right? So we can do a see-through filter. We can see how soon you need to change that pre-1 filter based on how dirty your pipes is, and also how dirty the city and how old the infrastructure the city is. For example, like New York, it got great water source, but really, really old infrastructure. Okay, and so that's the problem with New York. Even though water is good, but the copper piping and all the old galvanized piping you're going to get, that the filters get dirty relatively fast. Okay, so that's the safe to consume part. The other part we provide is a medical grade stainless steel faucet. So for the ladies who have a beautiful kitchen and don't want to things look ugly, we have this beautiful stainless steel faucet that is 316L medical grade. In other words, it's never going to leach any metals because we deal with very, very high quality of water. Okay. So that's provided as well and professionally installed as well. So the pure, the clean, the safe to consume is what that is. And the last one to kind of go over, what are the life, you can call it the health promoting benefits or the life promoting benefits. There's four things that's very important. The first thing is our water has a very high concentration of molecular hydrogen. And that is also the reason why the people go to the springs to bathe and drink is because of the molecular hydrogen in the water in the springs. Our water produces about a 1.4 to 1.6 ppm, parts per million, which is an equivalent. So if you drank a liter of our water, it's probably equivalent in eating about 750 bananas in antioxidant value, or 4 bags of large spinach, or 35 large carrots. Okay. So let me just kind of explain what hydrogen is. Hydrogen is just a very small gas. It is now known as one of the most potent antioxidants. And the reason is because we all have free radicals, right? And having free radicals, what free radicals do to your body is they steal electrons from your bones, blood, and organs over time. And then you get sick over time because of that process. Well, the hydrogen carries the extra electron. So what happens is that when a free radical meets the hydrogen, it donates the electron to the hydrogen. So therefore, it neutralizes the threat. That's the simple science behind it. So in effect, it's very important. It's very beneficial for every single organ in the body, every single cell of the body as well. And one of my medical doctors I work with, Dr. Simi Goyle in LA, said to me about a month ago, now they're beginning to use hydrogen IVs. Interesting, huh?
Yeah.
And that's coming over now. So that's pretty popular in Asia. It's moving itself away to the United States, going to the FDA process. But that kind of makes sense because, and that's a real popular wave. I will see that more in the hospitals down the road. Okay. So our water has a very high concentration of molecular hydrogen. The second thing is our water, when you drink about 10 glasses, you don't get the bloated belly. It's like, like when travel on airplanes or you buy the bottled water, you drink, 3 or 4 bottles and you really can't drink anymore. Your belly gets really bloated. With our water, you can literally drink 10 or 15 glasses and your belly will not get bloated. It's because the water is very micro-clustered, okay? So generally, tap water, bottled water, has a cluster size. So microcluster basically means you have a cluster of water and you count the number of molecules in the water to determine how big the cluster is. So example, like the airplane coffee, Starbucks coffee, or even just tap or bottled water, you're going to have 15 to 20 molecules in the cluster. With our water, it's about 1 to 2 molecules. So a lot of people get extremely hydrated. So in other words, you can probably increase your hydration by over 75% with our water. Okay. And that's important because, a lot of stuff we do in life, like drinking coffee, eating meat, and not drinking enough water, that dehydrates our body, right? And so hydration is important for your skin, for your health, and also for detox. Very, very important to move stuff out. And in our Facebook group, we have lots of testimonials on the benefits of people talking about being hydrated. Okay, it's important. The third thing is we put minerals back into our water. So when you're drinking water that has no minerals, what happens is the water will leach the minerals from your food. Okay, lots of studies have shown that. So water by itself needs to have minerals. So we use a mineral called the Maifan stone. It's spelled Maifan, N for Nancy. It's a very famous well-known Chinese medicine stone they've used for thousands of years for healing. But we mined that one, I believe, in Taiwan, and then we purified 1,000 degrees Celsius. So now you have these pure crystals. I think they're pinkish white, okay? And then you run the water through that, you're gonna get your micronutrients, and you get your magnesium, your calcium, your iron, your copper, your zinc, and your selenium, okay? So if you know the importance of selenium and magnesium for your body, some of it's coming from the water now, which is pretty awesome, yeah. And the last but not least, the pH of the water. I'm pretty sure you guys are all familiar with alkaline water and regular drinking water, right?
Mm-hmm.
So our faucet has two handles. The handle on the right side produces what we call the hydrogen water, and also a 9.0 to 9.5 pH. Okay. This is beneficial. So if you stress, you drink coffee, you travel, you eat meat, you don't sleep well, you exercise too much. This is very beneficial for you because most of the time we're going to be acidic in that process. Okay. And then the left side handle produces a pH about a 7.0 to a 7.8 in that range. Okay. And that is mainly used for for cooking. So drinking coffee and making tea and cooking with the water. And sometimes we meet people who are very, very healthy already. So their body is pretty much alkaline, or I should say more balanced. I mean, your body's best blood oxygen level is a blood pH of a 7.2 to 7.4. Okay, that's what you want to achieve, right? And so what you want so in our case is, if you're already too alkaline, we say to them, well, make sure, you don't, I mean, too much alkaline water is not good for you either, okay? So it's always a balance, right? And we always talk to people about making sure you balance your body's pH. And so some of the really, really healthy people we work with, a lot of them in California, they only eat raw fruit and vegetables. They may drink a liter there on the right side because that gets the hydrogen water, get their 750 bananas. And on the left side, they drink for the rest of the day and cook with it as well. Yeah. So in summary, it's probably the most, I don't know, I'm trying to simplify everything, but it's the most complete system in the market in terms of what I've seen out there. But it makes sense. It's basically like from pure water, it's the ecosystem in the box, right? And then you have your clean water technology. So the ability to make sure that you remove the impurities in the water first. If you guys ever go online and Google any of the city water pipes, or I think it's one's called Mesa, Arizona water pipe. They cut it in half. You see what's in those pipes that delivering tap water. You would never drink tap water again. Okay. So it's very interesting to see that. The third thing is the water is definitely safe to consume, certified, also manufactured in an NSF facility. And we also localize our filters by region, okay, which is very cool. And the last but not least is really the 4 life promoting benefits, right? The first is the hydrogen. The next is basically the micro clustering. So getting more hydrated, not feeling bloated after drinking a lot of water. They say, I think, it's all right. You're supposed to drink half your body weight in ounces, right? I believe, right? I think that's the new study. So that's pretty hard to achieve if you're feeling bloated the whole time, right?
Yeah. Now,
And
now
then
Kenny,
also the third thing is the water. Yes.
you say that what's in our tap water, you wouldn't want to see it. Once you see, can you give
You don't want
more?
to see. Yeah, there's some articles out there. You go on Google, just look at the pipes that's delivering the water to your house from the city. It's pretty disgusting. Some of them really, really old. If you guys really want to know about tap water, go to this website, ewg.org/tapwater, and put your zip code in. It'll tell you all about your tap water. Okay, that's a third-party website done by Environmental Working Group. They had a study on over a 3-year period on, I believe, 50,000 utilities and about 280 American water. Yeah. So that'll give you a clear indicator of some of the issues in tap water that you can find. Yeah. And literally every place you'll see at least 11 to 20 contaminants wherever you go. Yeah. So it's pretty interesting stuff. Anyways, and then the last but not least is the pH balance and the minerals, right? So I'm here, just hanging out with you guys. And Dr. Judy, I think you have a story to share with us. Let me know, and then I'm here to answer as many questions as possible. Go ahead, Dr. Judy.
Thanks, Kenny. That was a very informative, but yet a lot of information to kind of digest it all. But
Yes.
I, like Kenny said, met Kenny through a networking group. Marsha Sears introduced Kenny, and when I had a reverse osmosis, a filtering system before, but when I tried this machine, the water, that immediate instant hydration was so amazing that I had to talk to my husband about and have him taste the water. And we agreed that, you know, just like Kenny said earlier, when you drink this water, because of the small molecules in your body, the water, so you don't feel bloated. So you can take like 2-3 glasses of this water and you feel like, wow, my body's really needing this. And so the story that I had was, you know, I love orchids. Everybody loves orchids. And when you get orchids, when I get it, is that once the flower fall off the stem, then I don't know what to do with it because it won't come back. And so I decided to just give the Spring Aqua water. And Lord and behold, now I have an orchid that is actually blossoming flowers. And I'm like, cool, this is a great water for even my plant.
Oh,
so now,
amazing.
you know, I don't have to be an orchid specialist. I just feed the water to the plant and they love it. So
it's funny because we have an operation going on in Sacramento. One person who does growing marijuana has reached out to us about 3 months ago and got one of the units. Now we're doing a side-by-side analysis.
Oh, really?
It's interesting, yeah, because a lot of our plants, a lot of customers have told me their plants grow literally 3 or 4 times bigger and faster and smell better. And I said, that makes sense, but think of what's that doing in your health, in your body, right?
Yes.
The plants are doing it, you know, you definitely can, you know, improve your health as well. So definitely cool. That's a cool story. That's the first one. I didn't know that.
Well, I mean, it just blossomed 2 weeks ago. When it started getting the stems about a month ago, I was like, oh my God, I actually can regrow the orchids again.
No, you're right, because most of the time my father-in-law loves orchids and he just buys them and they don't regrow, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is so cool. I have to have you write on that later. Our little group. Everyone can start growing the plants.
Yeah, and you know, it's like you said earlier, it's very important to have the right amount of water in your system, because as the energy vibrations that are coming in, it is very strong. And I find that in my practice, a lot of patients are dehydrated and they don't like to drink water because the water tastes nasty. I mean, I've traveled, and Kenny, really, you need to have a filtration traveling water bottle system.
We're working on it.
Because it's really hard when you travel and you're used to drinking clean water.
Difficult. Yes.
Our group, when we travel, we were like searching, okay, what's in the bottle? What's, you know, and then the acidity of the water bottle. It's difficult.
Well, you know, did you say that Scott, you're a massage therapist, right? And do you see a lot of your clients coming in, their skin's pretty dry and dehydrated? Do you see that quite often?
Oh, yeah. And you know, I'm a big fan of that doctor, the manicures or something for water.
Oh, Dr. B, I call him Dr. Bin.
Dr. B, yes.
Dr. B.
Yes.
That's what he's usually referred to.
Yeah.
It's a big issue. So
yeah, it's a big issue.
I'm just doing the best.
That's a little bit technology breaking out there, Scott.
Am I okay?
We can hear you now. We missed the last 30 seconds though.
Hear me? Yeah, when the clients aren't drinking water and coffee's the issue and sodas and things that bring it down so quickly. So I asked you, can I get my water so uh, make a product on the alkaline side, and would it still taste good
You mean from our system, both sides
instead of
taste
being
really,
so
really
acid?
good. Dr. Judy, I didn't catch most of Dr. Scott's questions or anything, but maybe we can talk a little bit later after with them. There's some
Yeah, I
connection
think
issues there.
we have
Yeah.
some maybe.
Did I break out?
Yes, you
You
did.
did.
Am I back?
You're back now.
Oh, okay. Well, my question was if my you know how coffee is so acid,
Yes.
but you can make the coffee. Can I make the coffee with enough alkaline water that my coffee would be not
Delicious.
acid
Yes.
and still taste good?
Oh yeah. I make my coffee with my machine my water every single morning. It's amazing. You know, it's a lot smoother. It doesn't. It's just much better. You know. Even with all the food that I cook, I soak my eggs, my fruits and vegetables. You name everything, I soak in the water because our water has the ability to raise the vibrational energy of food very, very high. You know, and that's important for your health. And think of that vibrational energy, what it's doing to your gut, to your cells as you drink it's going through your body. You know how it's moving stuff around. That's all going to be very important for you. Yeah. There's a lot of experiments that Dr. Judy can do at her house sometime and try the water with lemon, with soy sauce, you name it all. Like we've had people even take liquor, like maybe some vodka, and then soak a little cup, a little bottle in the water. The water's not even touching the alcohol. It's just separate by the bottle. But after 2-3 minutes, everything's so much smoother, right? So that's the raising of the vibrational energy of water. It's amazing. Yeah.
Now, Kenny, since we're on the topic of vibration and water,
Sure.
have you heard of Dr. Imamoto?
Yeah, of
work?
course. Yes.
Do you have
I love
any
him,
insights or thoughts onto his work and his research, and
yeah.
comparing
No,
to
I mean, my thing with everyone. I love what everyone's trying to do with water out there. I respect it, whether it's different. I mean, I work with another guy called Tyler Lebaron from the Molecular Hydrogen Institute as well, right? And he works with Dr. Imamoto as well. What we have is very different. We're the very, very first company to figure out how to get a high concentration of molecular hydrogen at a very stable way dissolved in the water that you can deliver to the masses. And that's because we have engineers and we have R&D team. And also, we're also one of the very first companies that uses different technology to be able to microcustom the water into very, very small molecules. A little bit of quantum physics is involved because professor that we work with is a quantum physics professor, right? And so what we do is we respect everybody. Unfortunately, we can't tell everyone how we do it. Then people might as well copy us. Then we'll be out of business, right? But we do try to do as much education as possible. Yeah, but there's many. I mean, water is such a big subject right now. I work with a lot of banks, and you learn from when the banks are talking about water. They're looking at where to put their money, but there's literally, I don't know if you guys have ever been to any sort of life expos, or the last one was the LA Conscious Life Expo I went to recently. Man, I don't know, every other booth was water. It's crazy. Whatever bottle you can think of, spiritual, blessed, whatever, it's all there. A little bit crazy. So it's a very big thing right now. Yeah.
So what's your take on the big thing with alkaline these days? It seems like it's being commercialized everywhere. Is there any validity to
alkaline
that?
Water, the most important thing is, there's, I mean, the truth is the body's pH both at most optimal is 7.2 to 7.4. That's your blood pH because that gives you the most blood oxygen level. Okay. So you want to try and get there if you can. Drinking alkaline water does help. However, just by simply drinking alkaline water and then overdoing it, that's not very good for your health long term as well. And that's the very specific topic that me and Dr. Oz, we talk quite a bit about that because he really believes in a balanced, everything's balanced, right? You can't be too alkaline, nor it's good to be too acidic. Does that make sense? Right?
Yeah, makes sense.
So it's all about being balanced. So a lot of people buy the pH strips from Amazon for the saliva. It's very cheap, and they do the test on. But I always promoted that you need to be balanced. Now, a guy like me who travels a lot and probably drinks coffee 1 cup a day might be too much, but I drink coffee when I get tired. And when you're traveling, you don't always get the best food because you don't have Whole Foods everywhere. It's hard to get good choices all the time, right? So a guy like me probably is going to have more of an acidic body most of the time, okay? And so I don't really, for me, I know I drink the 9.0, 9.5 pH more frequently than the other side. I know that for myself. But my business partner, Dallas, who's a programmer and generally is more of a fish eater, healthy eater, exercise, he's definitely balancing the pH on his own quite a bit. Yeah, and Dr. Hugo, another chiropractor in California, all he eats is raw fruits and vegetables ever since he was like 19. And he's in his 60s, so he's a super healthy guy. Nothing's cooked, So he also does the balancing himself as well. His diet's really hard to follow. I wish I could do. I tried it for 2 meals and I was done. That was very difficult to follow. Yeah.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, but yeah, so that's, dude, man. Nothing's cooked. Like the stuff is all dried fruits and dried vegetables. I mean, crazy nuts, like the different type of nuts, almonds, all the different nuts, and then add lots of avocado. Wow. For the proteins and stuff like that. So, but I hope that answers your question, though.
Yeah. And what do you think of like like people say like lemon water? It's supposed to be good for you.
Lemon water is very good for your liver. Like the word lemon, right?
Mm-hmm.
So another thing we've ever done in juicing, guys. Another thing that we do kind of teach a lot is the ABCs: your apple, your beets, your celery, right? And then also the lemon, the lime. Yeah, lemon's also good for you too. So juicing is good. Lemon's fine. Lemon, I believe, helps remove some of the chlorine and let it evaporate. Also helps with the what you call it, the alkalinity of the water as well. So that does help.
That's interesting because a lot, there's like a lot of people I hear, they say that like, oh, lemon, put lemon water in your tap if you must drink tap water. That would increase like alkalinity in the water.
I mean,
sounds like a misconception here.
I would just stay from tap because you have all the different byproducts coming to the tap water. Like if you knew that a lot of nurses, a lot of people in hospitals that I know are nurses, don't have time to flush the drugs down the toilet, right?
Right.
And if you ever studied how water is on the bottom of the earth, so water in New York is being shared at the bottom. There's all one system. It's all shared among each other. All the stuff that leaches into the water, right? It's all moving around the country, So there's that was a video I think done by PBS about a couple of weeks ago. Talks about the water under the earth and the leaching of the water of different whether pesticides, insecticides, or things from other cities are now traveling into other places as well. So the Environmental Working Group website's great because that really does a lot of education about those water systems, right? And the water byproducts with chlorine, chloramine, THM's also a byproduct of chlorine called trihalomethanes as well. You'll see all that on those websites. You can get really good education about it. Yeah.
So all those come up through your tap water, and you're basically just consuming these chemicals.
And I tell people, I mean, what's the point of drinking alkaline water if your water has chlorine in it? So you're going to get chlorinated alkaline water. Get my point? So it's very important to clean the water first. And unfortunately, not every company does that. A lot of companies sell you ionization machines with no filters or no pre-filters, or maybe one filter that maybe it's a very simple carbon filter, right? So it's important to have the concept of having the water clean first, and then making sure it's safe, and then making sure that you can add all the benefits what you think is good for your health. Yeah.
And what do you think for people who can't afford like these systems, these filtration systems, or like so like you're saying you're traveling a lot, you're exposed to you get thirsty, so you have to grab something.
Right.
What is your suggestion or advice on for people who travel? I can
tell you. So when I go to California or Chicago, I have a lot of customers. I just go to their house. I just say hi, what's up, and we hang out, become friends. So I do a lot of that. Pretty cool. But in areas like I was just in Kentucky, there is no water there. You don't have a choice. You just have to go for bottled water, and you have to do what you do your best, right? If people can afford it, most people finance anyways. There's a lot of financing options for our system that makes costs as low as $39 a month to make it very affordable. And that because the reason why we have good financing is not because of me, it's because when we work with the banks realize the necessity and the importance of water, right? And so they're willing to collaborate and come up with great financing terms for consumers so they may have good, clean technology in their homes. That's the whole idea. Yeah. I mean, just think of guys, I believe 2020 is when they estimate $58 billion will be spent on filters alone in the world. So that just let you know how big the industry is. And if you talk to any single person in banking, will tell you the biggest commodity in the next 20 years is going to be water. So Nestle and all those major companies are already buying land around the springs. So a lot of the springs you can't access anymore, because they're not bottling water. And then bottled water is a much larger industry now than Coca-Cola and sodas and juices.
Well, not only that, Kenny, is that as we are moving into this high vibrational energy, the importance of keeping your body hydrated is such an essential aspect of really to sustain this body that we are in.
Absolutely.
And if you are consuming, coffee or soda or anything beside water, you're actually taxing the body and requiring more of the nutrient which you don't even have to get rid of all this. And so when you start consuming more and more of these that is not nutrient based for your body, you're going to get weaker and weaker and feel more tired. And as this vibrational energy are coming in so strong, people are starting to feel more aches and pain, more migraines, more, the body cannot keep up with this kind of energy. Not only that, when you're saying that all these people who have the money buying all the spring water lands, it has been like 20 years ago, if you really go and research it,
right?
All those people who had money. But really, water is one of the best nutrition that you can have for your body. Without water, within a week, we die. Food, we can go for a whole month. And that's, water, it really is an essential part of our body. And those who have money realize that. And it's more expensive going to the airport. We're screaming and kicking when gasoline go up to $2, $3 a gallon, right? You go to the airport, a bottle of water, which is 16 ounces, and it's like $9, which I was like, wow, So I can see that the goal is in water, and having a clean glass of water for every glass that you drink. It is so essential that you drink clean, pure, and safe water, because for every glass that you drink, like you said, with all those contaminants, that's more taxing on the liver, on the kidney, on all of your vital organs. Plus, you don't have the nutrient to get rid of them. So now you're kind of living in a dump site within your own body.
No, 100% agree with you. Water is, your body is the temple. You need to keep it good. You only have one body, right? You get to live once. And as I've traveled all over the country, the world, like I said earlier, everybody drinks water. So I'm now connected to all sorts of people. Amazing. I've done so many businesses in the past. This one has really connected me to many, like I would say, connected me to the heart of the world. Because, it doesn't matter where you're from, they all drink water. Interesting, right? And so I learned a lot from the spiritual people, from the people in the Hare Krishna community. I didn't even know there were Hare Krishnas out there until I started doing water and I met them. It's weird. But then there's a massive Polish community in Chicago I'm connected to now, right? The Armenian community in LA. But it's been a wonderful journey so far. And for our company, it's more important to do things right. So we've done a lot of work the last 2 years to make sure we get the quality of the machine down, the water quality correct, the service correct, before we start scaling. Kind of makes sense? Because this is America, customer service fees are very expensive if you make a mistake. So we've done a lot of work to study the water, to understand what type of filters go where, so we can really deliver that clean water. And now we even have a well water system. So if someone has well water, so a lot of our customers in Ohio on the wells and North Carolina. And if you guys didn't know, about 40 million Americans on a well water.
Oh.
It's a lot of people, So that's been an interesting market too, because that water is extremely difficult to tackle. And so we've had to R&D a bunch of stuff the last year and a half to come up with some solutions, and we're happy. And the most rewarding thing was when I went to the Amish community. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that before.
Mm-hmm.
I went to the Amish community, I think 3 or 4 times in Wisconsin and Pennsylvania, and they all on well water, and they all use no power, right? So our system kind of fits great. It was actually a Dr. Avery Martin, a chiropractor up in Mount Vernon. He used to be the president of the board in the state of Washington. He referred me out to the Amish community in Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very happy that they're now getting good water, because they're, for them, there's no way to get good water. It's out of the well. It's air pumped through the tank above that's 30 feet, and it uses gravity, comes to the home. There's really no power to the house at all. Yeah. So it's been a pretty cool journey thus far. Yeah.
I have a question, Kenny. How
Yes.
often do you change the filter?
Filters are certified between 12 and 18 months. In most cases, it will last 18 months with proper maintenance. So it just depends where you're at, right? So let's say if you live in Seattle, you get one pre-filter, and that's the one you would change for a family of 4 every 4 to 6 months. You just change that one, and then keep going. And then at the end of the 18-month cycle, you would change all of the filters. Okay. But if you're in California, you get 3 pre-filters because their water's a lot worse, right? And then their filter number 1 change frequency is probably going to be between 3 months, 2 months, because the water's a lot worse. But now if you're in Florida and Louisiana, right, where the water smells like sulfur, you can literally smell it, right? They're looking at about either 3 or 4 pre-filters before the 14. So they'll have like 17 or 18 filters, but 3 on the outside. And that one you're probably going to change every 2 months, 3 months, depending on how the usage is. Okay. The system will last 1,600 gallons. So we have some restaurants that use this. They're probably gonna, their filters will not last a year and a half, because they're using it every single day in high volume, right? So it's either 1,600 gallons, or I would say between 12 and 18 months. And in most cases, most of our customers' filters do last about 16, 17, 18 months. Yeah.
Here to let you know that it's time to change, or like close to time to change, or anything?
Yeah, there's a flow meter in the machine. So if you max out, it shuts off. You can't use it anymore. And then you have to call customer service. And then we have an app that tracks it. So when you buy the machine, we take a survey real quick. We know how many use it in your house, who's drinking it, right? And then our system will track you by time as well. So you'll get an email reminder like, hey, it's time to change your pre-filter number 1. You'll get an email reminder for that. Yeah. And that's all fairly new. When Dr. Judy, when you bought your machine, we didn't have any of those systems, but now we have that on computer code. And as we begin to grow, we have it all tracked. And the point of doing this is to make sure this is done right, so we can provide the quality service to the customers, right? And if you do maintain the filters correctly, then the filters will last a long time. If you don't maintain it correctly, then the filters won't last, and you may have to change your filters 8 months through or 9 months through, which is a lot more expensive than just maintaining it. Make sense? Yeah. So there are benefits there. Mm-hmm.
And then you mentioned before that your system has 14 different filters?
Correct.
Okay,
14 filters.
And then you said that it actually removes heavy metals, including fluoride?
Yes. Oh, yes.
And okay, how is that process different from the reverse osmosis?
Well, it's a completely different mechanism. If I don't have I can rather send you information to read about it, because reverse osmosis removes everything. Okay. And the membranes and all the stuff that they remove that's bad gets drained out of the drain, right? That's how they do it. We use different technologies with resins, cations, cation filter, micro hollow fiber membrane filters from Japan, combination of activated carbon nanobacteria silver, right? All these different components we use together as a process to remove stuff out. Yeah, so it's a little bit different process than what they do. Yeah.
Anyone else have questions?
That's awesome, Kenny. That's awesome. Maybe you can share a little bit about, how they can maintain if they were to get them. Is there a guidebook or instruction of how to maintain that? Or
yeah. That's all available at springaqua.com. When you hit the product section, there's a button called maintenance, and then it'll tell you basically if you're on the new system or the old system. So we have a new machine that we recently put together. It's 14 filters in 2 different boxes. It's beautiful gold and red aluminum boxes. They're a little bit skinnier and smaller than the one that Dr. Judy has, so it makes the installation a little bit easier, especially with all the plumbing under the sink, right? So that's a new design. But does the same function, both still 14 filters. So that's all available on the website as well. A lot of our customers who buy the machine get the app as well. So we are very heart-centered. So it's very easy. If you like something, generally you want to share with a couple of friends on the app, you just touch a couple buttons, send some videos. To all the stuff I'm sharing with you has videos. They're all 1 minute each, right? The pure, the clean, the safe, the life, the mitochondria, the hydrogen, all that has a little 1 minute clip on filter renewal. That gives consumers a very easy way to be educated and not be sold. Because a lot of people don't like to be pushed on stuff. They'd rather give us the education, we'll do it at our own convenience, and we'll make it our own idea to buy. Can that make sense?
Yeah.
And that's kind of the trend that we want to put, because that type of heart-centered energy has a higher vibration, but also attracts the right customers and also gets the right referrals, right? So if people are properly educated before they buy, that's important. That they can use the machine, they use the water correctly. At the same time, we're not going to have many problems.
Yeah. And I love how you guys take the extra step to study different region, because I did not know that. This is the first time I've learned that, and thank you for that wisdom.
That's if I have any gray hairs, that's probably coming from that process. Because I'm telling you, that was not I did it because when I took the Seattle machine to California, and I was in shock that it didn't work. I was like, no ways. So we literally had to send 2 machines down there at a friend's house, get it tested, cut it up, send it back to Asia for R&D to figure out why is it not working,
Yeah.
And then we started figuring out, wait a second, it doesn't work in West Virginia too, and it didn't work in Ohio. And so we're like, okay, well, we need to start figuring out how to solve this problem. This is going to be interesting. But we've never had problems in Oregon or New York or say Seattle, because the water is generally good. But when you start hitting areas of Florida, which is really bad, West Virginia, and middle of central Ohio is really, really bad, and Denver as well, and then Southern California, we learned a lot. We learned a lot from the process.
Were you able to determine what was the cause of why?
Yes. So we can remove pretty much anything, but what causes the filters to clog is the high mineral content.
Oh.
Okay, so you get in California, you get a lot of calcium, a lot of magnesium. In Florida, a lot of sulfur, right? So you have to have different pre-filters to take out the necessities first. Okay, we actually just got a water tested in Santa Monica Hospital. One of the doctors worked there, took some water sample, tested, we passed with everything. It was amazing. I was so surprised, but I mean, I wasn't surprised because we had the test from SGS already, right? Yeah. So, but yeah, if it's high mineral content, a lot of the well water have high iron content. Okay, so you see the filters literally just get red, crazy red. And so that's also a big problem as well. Yeah, so we have to deal with them separately, give them different strategies and give them kind of protocols. But I'll give you an example. You guys know in LA, you have Laguna Beach right next to, it's about an hour south of LA, very close. So LA itself, Los Angeles and Anaheim, that's all zone 3. Once you cross the Laguna Beach, it's zone 4. See, it's interesting. It's just an hour of, like, even 35 minutes apart. From Anaheim to Laguna Beach is a 30-minute drive. And just that 30-minute drive, you can see how different the water is in Laguna Beach and in Anaheim. It's very, very interesting,
Wow.
So we have to have a zip code database to keep updating it. Yeah, so it's interesting. And that's good, because we provide that education to a lot of the consumers before they buy, so that they are really well educated how to upkeep their system. Right? It's very important to do that. And in Seattle, we're a little bit luckier because our water is a little bit better. I mean, a lot better, right? So in Seattle, generally, it's just a very simple pre-filter, zone 2, and then we just drink it. And in Seattle, if I did more education in Seattle, it'd be generally more towards the health. In California and Florida, more towards the taste, because the water tastes bad. But when they drink our water, it goes, wow, it's amazing. Yeah. So it depends where you are. The marketing shifts a little bit because I mean, here we take our water for granted. You know what I'm saying? It's like, hey, it's Seattle. It's raining all the time. We've got trees everywhere, But different story in Arizona. Yeah, go ahead.
Kenya, I'm interested in like, because you said you worked a lot with researchers and probably like,
Correct.
So what is like one of the most probably like, could you name like maybe a few interesting stories or about water that you discovered that's kind of like not a lot of people know about? Like you talk about like vibrational, and even
Correct.
Dr. Judy mentioned about how just putting clean water makes some plant grow really fast.
One of the things, one of the things I learned when I was at Dr. Oz's house is quite fascinating last year, was he never thought himself about the vibrational energy water as well. Because when he does surgeries, he has the different decibels of music when he plays. I think it's the 4/4, I think 4/4/4. I don't want exact decibel. He plays those decibels so that when the patients go through the surgery, they're in tremendous peace, right? The frequencies, right? So the vibrational energy was definitely cool, what I learned. The other thing I think is really unique, what I learned is it's very difficult to have the water taste the same wherever you go. Kind of makes sense? And that's like having a Coca-Cola. How does Coke taste the same? Well, it's a little bit different in Mexico, but how come it tastes the same? So to maintain quality water is very interesting as well. And then I just, I did not know, just from the marketing perspective, that a lot of people are open to water. It's a huge subject right now. It's interesting. And then the other thing we always do for your guys' sake, and Dr. Judy would know, we're always constantly making improvements in our raw materials. So Dr. Judy, you've had a filter renewal already, correct?
Yes, recently.
And you found that, do you feel the second set is better than the first set?
Yes.
Okay, so
the water is much more flowing more smoother and more.
Right.
Yes.
So is it your name Young or Yoon?
Yoon.
Yoong. How do you pronounce that?
Oh, that's just it just sounds the way it sounds.
Your mic is off, Yoon.
Your mic is off, brother.
Oh, all right. Let me fix that.
In Vietnamese, it's pronounced Yoon, but he makes it easy for everyone to pronounce it Yoon.
Yoon, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for Yoon's question to answer, it's just that you got to be on top of the game. You can't just make a product and assume it's going to work for the rest of the life. Especially the water source is changing. The water 20 years ago, we were still enjoying the tap water, and we didn't care. Even maybe 30 years ago, we would drink it, right? We didn't care as much.
Yeah.
So the key is to keep up with all the problems and the world's getting more populated. There's more things happening, right? So the key for us is really to keep funding raw materials. We're getting better. So we used to only source in 3 or 4 or 5 different countries. Now we're sourcing from 7 different countries. We added France to our list, and we're about to add Korea. There's some stuff from Korea that's really good we're going to add. And the good thing about this, the way we do it, is every year when you guys get new filters, you're going to get the latest, right? The latest update. So when you renew filters every year, you basically get a new product, a brand new set of filters. That's the amazing part of it. And so it's a lot better than buying a 40-inch TV this year, and the next year the 80-inch comes out, and you're kind of stuck with the 40 because you spent the money on it, right? In our case, we keep the newest and updated thing. And I really appreciate, in terms of researchers, I really appreciate engineers a lot more. I tell you, the research scientists, the professors of the world are great in conceptual and ideology, are great for that. But to make things work, it comes down to the engineers. And I've learned that they're you can see why they get paid a lot, but they're very valuable, because all of the problems that we've had with making the water work was all solved because of the engineering of it and also the raw material sourcing of it.
Yes. And we have our best engineer who's also our tech guy. So we appreciate them very much.
You got it, man. I always joke that professor is the guy who has the idea. We call him the guy who shoots the sperm. But then what happens when the kid is born? That's when the real magic happens, the feeding, the engine. So that's when you have to have the engineers and the constant improvement about water. And I can tell you, there's a lot of interesting products out there that don't really work. So it's interesting. I found we've actually researched and on R&D center bought a bunch of other people's product, opened it up to understand what's actually in there, and we're quite shocked that a lot of them don't do much. There's a lot of fakes. I won't say fake stuff. I mean, I don't want to make fun of other companies because everyone is probably trying to make a living or trying to do, trying to do something good. I have that assumption, right? I want to give them the benefit of the doubt, but there is a ton of fake stuff out there with water that makes a very interesting market, So we've kind of done it in a way where we come heart-centered. We provide the education first. We take the greed out, take the fear out, take the doubt out, but put the passion, put the love in, right? And that's kind of what we've done to create a heart-centered. So if you go to our Facebook group, you'll see we have about 500 people posted. We have a lot of happy customers. It's just because we've done a really good job trying to build it the right way and taking our time. And also, as we grow, we are surrounding ourselves with better people all the time. That's the whole point. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much, Kenny. Well, coming up to the top of the hour, Kenny is offering a special to all of our viewers and those who will be watching this. And if you mentioned Radiate Up, that you hear from Radiate Up, YouTube Live, Kenny, what's the special?
Well, we sell the system for $3,700. So if you go through this education, that's what I just did. So thank you for listening to me. We're going to give a $200 discount off, and you also get an awesome free shower filter. You're going to want that for the wives, for the ladies for sure, because that skin in the hair is going to be perfect, And then if you want to buy, you can DIY the process yourself. You save on basically on installation. But if you needed to pay for installation, it's just a $295. We get a professional subcontractor licensed by our company. It takes about 2 hours. They'll come in and get it done for you guys, right? Mm-hmm. And if you don't want to pay cash, you can finance. So if you're a homeowner, you get as low as $39 a month plus tax. So that's really a drop in the bucket in terms of how much money you spend on coffee and water already. If you're non-home, you can also do whether you're homeowner or non-homeowner, you can do a 0% interest for a year. That's a very popular plan for a lot of people. So there's a lot of financing different options. We can go through that if you guys are ready. And if you guys need to watch some of the videos that I'm talking, in obviously a much more professional setting with a suit, with nice background, professionally made. We can certainly send you some videos. Give Dr. G your number. She'll text them to me, and I'll just shoot them from my phone, and I can follow up with you guys later. That'll be fun, and I'm more than happy just to educate. I'm enjoying this. This is fun, Mm-hmm.
And also, what I love about your company is the warranty that you have. Share a little bit about that, because that's how confident you guys are.
Yeah, so we have up to a 15-year warranty. That's really long. So as long as you renew your filters every single year, we can keep extending the warranty up to 15 years. Obviously, if we don't renew your filters, we can't really help you,
Now, Kenny,
we stand by word. Go ahead.
Well, how much is your filter?
Renewals?
Whenever is it renew, or is it like you pay once a year type of thing?
You just pay you pay a consumption of 1,600 gallons or about 18 months, and they're $360. That's it. So it's very reasonable.
Yeah, that's about reasonable.
Brand new machine. Yeah. I mean, the only thing cost in the beginning is a little bit. You're paying for the technology, but you're also paying for the expensive faucet and the box. That's all expensive stuff. The package is beautiful, but the faucet's really expensive because it's medical grade, and we have to have medical grade because we've done tests. If you run a water 11,000 liters through our water, it's not through a medical grade faucet. You can literally taste the metal coming from the faucet.
Yeah, and can you kind of like let people know like what happens when you consume these metal particles?
Well, heavy metal, it's not good for you. Come on, I just have a friend right now that's got some very bad heavy metal toxins causing him to have some really bad cancer. That's not good.
Yeah, see, I don't think people realize that heavy metal can cause cancer or.
No! If you live in America, if you go to Asia, you go to Hong Kong. That's the number one cause of cancer is heavy metal toxins. Hong Kong and China, and we live in this part of the world where generally that's not thought of as a problem, right? But in China, in Asia, where there's a lot of manufacturing going on, stuff like that, right? Toxicity is one of the number one causes of cancer over in Asia.
I mean, we used to have it here too. Like places in like Michigan where they have like
correct
leads in the water and.
I mean, I'm praying for one of my friends who had silicone implants recently, and she got stage 4 melanoma, and she's tried everything possible, and she finally went to Tijuana, even tried that, and then went to a healer in Palm Desert, And the guy who I don't know how he does it, but they have a way of doing it, said to her, look, you have silicone toxicity in you. And she goes, how did you know? So that's what I'm getting. And she says, I have silicone implants. And she got the emergency surgery done. The doctor took it out and goes, wow, it has leached everywhere in her body.
Wow.
And people don't know about that. So that's interesting to me. That's new, right? Now they got rid of the problem. Hopefully, her body can fight and survive on its own and come back from it. That's what we pray and hope for. But yeah, I was there I was there at the surgery meeting as well. I saw everything. I wasn't there for the surgery, but I was there when I talked to the surgeon before the surgery as well. It's a very close friend of mine. Yeah. So, so heavy metal toxicity is not good for you. They're not very good for you. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, all right, we're coming up to the hour. We are so grateful for having Kenny on, such a wealth of knowledge and wisdom with his busy schedule. He finds time to join us, to share with us this amazing technology that is serving humanity in a positive way. This product can help you have a clean, pure, safe glass of water every time when you drink. Our family loved it. I have it here in my office for my patients as well. And as you can see, my plants also loved it. And so what I love about the technology is, the filtration system of filtering out not only the heavy metal, but the chemical, like the pharmaceutical drugs that people pour into their toilet. And we all drink water, every glass of it. And everybody has certain conditions. And when these pharmaceutical medications go into the whole ecosystem, like you were saying earlier, Kenny, that cause havoc within our body. Even though we try to eat healthy and clean, for every glass of water that we bring into our body, that kind of didn't serve the purpose of why we're eating healthy, right? Because that glass of water kind of took out all of that nutrients already. So having a nice system that filters all of that out, and not only that, it adds that hydrogen ion it's an antioxidant. It's so amazing with all the stress that everybody is facing right now, the air pollution, the water pollution, the stress within our life, the lack of sleep, definitely will make a great impact in the overall health and well-being of a person. So if you are interested in getting this and get more information, you can contact us. Jung will put the information on the bottom of our YouTube, how to get in contact with Kenny, and also mention Radiate Up, that you heard it from here, and Kenny will give you that $200 special and a shower head. That's awesome because, again, chlorine, when you take hot shower, chlorine comes out and you're breathing in that, and that is one of the major cause of cancer as well. So with a shower head filtration system throwing in, that's a very generous offer there, Kenny. So thank you everyone for watching and tuning in. We love you. Until next Thursday, we are looking forward to seeing everyone again.
Thank you very much for having me. You guys are wonderful. Amazing.
Thank you, Kenny.
Thank you, guys.